I think one of the most important things of coming to university is like learning those communication skills that, you know, we need day to day, and like to be able to convince people of why this is better than that, or have those kind of like upper level conversations that aren't just like, oh, do you think this is cute? Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas like sometimes once you're getting into like more difficult projects, being able to communicate effectively is like, I think, one of the biggest troubles for a lot of people that haven't been exposed to, you know, critical ideas.
Exactly. I think that's something that you touched on, is being able to communicate. And I think that's something that the humanities or social and behavioral sciences do. Back to what I said, it's very centered on human interaction. How do we go day to day living our lives? And I think that that's something that people who are misinformed about ethnic studies or humanities in general think that, why are you taking these classes? What are you going to do? What is that going to help you with in every day-to-day life? Like, what are you going to use from that to get you a job, to just live life? And I think that they don't understand that critical thinking, we employ that every day that we live.
Yeah. Okay, another thing too, I haven't taken a lot of Chicano study classes, but the ones that I have taken, it's like it's life changing, you know, just in the fact that, you know, it's not just history that you're learning about, you know, like the 1960s civil rights movement and stuff like that. It's more of like how to combat white supremacy. That's what I've learned, you know, like in what I've taken from Chicano studies. It's like, how do you like use and implement those tools, you know? Critical thinking, you know, even in Marta's class, you know, we sit in a circle and we discuss.
Yeah.
And that's something that
was new to you?
That it's new to me. And, you know, being a sociology major, it's very like systematic, and we just learn about, you know, theories and those white, you know, sociologists and their ideologies. So that's a different aspect, because Chicano studies, ethnic studies in general, it's like, it's new and it's evolving. It's not just like focused on one thing. It's very dynamic and intersectional.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's, you know, it's important, especially like people of color.
For the climate that we live in today. And I like how you brought up that I didn't know who this person was, Jabuki. I like how you brought up that they're a comedian and how it's perhaps exaggerated, but this whole STEM versus liberal arts, humanities discussion on Twitter actually started with a different tweet that I think has since been deleted, but come on, in the era that we live in today, nothing is ever truly deleted.
Right.
So obviously I found a screenshot of it. Their username is at Olivia Shade 52. And I think this tweet here was done in a much more serious manner. They tweeted, "College is crazy because you can be in the library working on your 20-plus page biochem lab report while some girl sitting next to you cuts out gingerbread men for her education class and complains about not having enough time to do it." That had 13,000 retweets and 75,000 likes at the time before it was deleted. I'm sure if it was left up, could have amounted much more.
Yeah.
So like this tweet right here wasn't an exaggeration. So I think that demonstrates that people do carry this thought with them that we're doing easy work. But what is easy to you?
I don't think it's easy work, because a lot of the readings that I've had, like, you know, they're kind of, they're shocking, like more so than just dense, but like the information that we're actually learning in these classes is, you know, very
demanding of you mentally.
Right.
In the sense that if you had never been exposed to information like that, you have to take time to process it, take it in,
Right. Like a lot of the stuff that we're learning isn't just facts about, the properties of a rock, or how state changes, like in chemicals. It's about, like, in this class that we're taking with Marta Escobar, we're learning about systematic issues with the carceral system, with, like, women being subjected to rape just in being processed for incarceration. Like, in reading that, it makes me think about, like, what if my mom is arrested tomorrow, and, like, she's actually told me stories where one time a female police officer actually stopped her, and because she's a truck driver, she assumed that, like, my mom wasn't the one driving the truck, and she was like, so where's the guy that you were, like, where's the guy? Like, what were you doing in that truck? Like, I don't know if she actually said that,
truck,
but,
like big
yeah,
trailers?
like big rigs, like,
okay.
big rig 18-wheeler trucks, like. And so, there is also this presumption that those men, when they're on the road, like, they're gonna go solicit sex from sex workers.
Exactly,
right?
and
So
she assumed that.
So she assumed my mom was a sex worker and not the truck driver, and if that had escalated further, if my mom had been taken into custody for sex work, quote unquote, she would have been strip searched, which is, degrading to any woman who has to take her clothes off, whether or not that person has a badge. And if she had been subjected to a cavity search, that's literally rape. The definition of rape is, like, the insertion of any bodily part into a woman's body. And so to like, stick your fingers into a woman, to the justification is that we have to make sure that no contraband is coming into the building. But you're also forgetting that a lot of people that are arrested aren't actually guilty of any crime. So from this one reading, like, it made me think of that, and my aunt being arrested prior, and a lot of these things are very sensitive, and people don't talk about it outside of these spaces, because there's a lot of shame with any kind of sexual assault, and that's something that I've learned about, but that I will never really understand, because I don't think I would be subjected to the same position. But it's something that we should talk about, because these things, they affect our loved ones, and something in science is never going to open your eyes to these realities of the world.
Exactly. I think that the classes that I've taken, whether it be Chicano studies, Africana studies, I think that they present information to us that we see every day, but it kind of validates everything that people of color in this country have gone through. Mm-hmm. And really, these departments help us confront the realities that we live in. And not just that, because it can be very draining, but offers us a way to solve those issues for our communities, because we're the ones who live in those communities. I think that we're the ones who know how to fix our issues. And I think that's the biggest takeaway that I've taken from my studies here at CSUN, which is how to improve my community in a way that won't damage it.